Hello, and welcome to another episode of the Small Town Tourist Podcast, where we experience and explore everything that makes small towns great. I'm your host, Abby, and today we are heading to the town of Swanville, a town that we have covered before on this podcast, but we're covering a different topic today. We did the Swanville Midsummer Carnival a couple months ago. If you haven't checked out that episode, please go back and listen. But today we are talking to Stacy, one of the owners of Theory Clothing Co. Boutique. Now, this boutique actually started in St. Cloud, but they moved to Swanville, which is Stacy's hometown, where they have been thriving, and they're actually hosting an event, which is why I reached out to Stacy to see if she'd be on the podcast. I was scrolling through my Facebook feed, and this event popped up, and I'm like, oh my gosh, this would be such an amazing event to cover on the podcast. I reached out to Stacy, and within a couple hours, we were recording this episode. So thank you, Stacy, so much for being so flexible with my chaotic schedule. You're the best. She's just such a ray of sunshine. You're going to love hanging out with her. Be sure you check out Theory Clothing Co. on social media. You can check them out there, Facebook. I also have a link to the website and all that down in the show notes. Be sure you check that out as well. And be sure to RSVP and come to the Boutique Bash that is happening on September 24th, which is the big event that we are going to be discussing with Stacy. So please enjoy our time hanging out with Stacy, and thank you so much for listening this week.
So come on home, claim your throne when life gets you down. It's nice to know there's somewhere to go when folks care about you. We can't give you the world, but we'll give you a crown, 'cause you're the queen of our hometown.
Okay, let's get this started here. We start every podcast. I will have you give your name, where you're from, and what you do.
Well, my name is Stacy Jackson. I'm from Swanville, Minnesota, and I'm a boutique owner at the current time.
So this is kind of why we're hanging out with Stacy today. We're going to be talking about a special event she has coming up with her boutique. But before we get into that special event, Stacy, go ahead and tell me how Theory got started.
Well, Theory got started. It was a long time coming. My cousin and I own the store together. So Tracy and I, we grew up together on the same block. And after years of working together in St. Cloud, we kind of teased each other about having our own business one day and working for ourselves instead of everybody else. So that's how the business kind of came to be. And we started our venture in St. Cloud because that's where we spent the majority of our years working in the beauty industry.
Okay, so you guys were in the beauty industry. What were you doing in that beauty industry?
In the beauty industry, we were working wholesale, retail, helping small salons, big salons, basically run their businesses from a retail standpoint and get their product for their salons, what they'd use on their clients and whatnot.
Coming from that, what a great natural next step to branch into the boutique business, because you're kind of catering to somewhat the same client.
Yeah, we actually are. It's kind of fun. Our theory at Theory Clothing Co. Boutique is that fashion should be fun and it should be adventurous and it should make you feel good. So that's where beauty all starts in the same sense. So
yeah, for sure. So what year did you guys start Theory in the St. Cloud area?
Theory began in October of 2019, which was 4 months, I guess, before COVID kind of hit. So it wasn't a great time to open a business, but we're still here. So, you know, we're working and we're trying to do collaborations and unique things to kind of keep the appeal. But going through COVID was really a tough time, as it was for many people. And I think if you can make it through that, you can make it through anything. And it was, you know, spring of 2020, and we had to close our location, and we were closed for several months. But during that time frame, we kind of went back to our roots, having to be home. And a lot of things were kind of happening and coming out of Swanville rather than St. Cloud. And so we later in 2021 opened a test store in Swanville after having months and months of transporting products and clothes back and forth to the Swanville area from St. Cloud.
Which, for those who don't know, is a good 45-minute drive, depending on what side of town you're coming from.
Yes. Mm-hmm. Yep, it's a jaunt for sure.
So you guys opened the test site. How long were you in that test area?
We were in the test area for about 5 months before we decided we had to move to a bigger location. And when we moved to our bigger location, we about tripled the size of our store. It's still very small and quaint, but it was very much legit a test spot, just a very small location with a few pieces.
And how was the public response to the test site and then from there going to your now permanent location?
Well, I mean, it went well, or we wouldn't have been able to go over to the bigger location. But everyone was really supportive, excited about having something in such a small town. And people, before we opened our test store, we decided that coming right out of COVID, when things were starting to open up, we wanted to get together with other small businesses, people we knew, women in business that wanted to come together and have like an event. And so we did our Ladies' Day Out, and we kind of focused on that, and then thought, okay, there's definitely a need here. So we did the test store, and that really picked up the pace, people really getting to know us and things like that. So we were able to, move into a bigger location from there after just a short time of about 5 months.
So impressive. And those Ladies' Day Out events, I was a vendor at a couple of them. And what a wonderful thing to showcase local women in business, because I feel like there really isn't any other outlet for that in the central Minnesota area that at least I'm aware of.
Right. And I think part of it too is a lot of times as women, you can almost be threatened by another person or another business, and really what we need to be doing is helping each other, because we all have a common bond of being women and loving fashion and beauty and shopping and all the things. So for us, it really motivated us to connect with other people in the same businesses and outside our business to try to help one another grow and prosper and all of those things, and just have a fun time getting together.
Yeah, and there's just something to be said for all of us getting together in one place and the networking that comes from it. Oops, that's my alarm going off. But yeah, there's just the networking and the friends that you make along the way. Like that's how we got connected, was you inviting me to be part of one of the events. And now here we are today chit-chatting on a whim.
I know, it's so cool. And those relationships, can last for a lifetime.
Yeah. So Theory is now in Swanville, and you guys have been in this location for just over a year now? 2 years?
Yes.
Christian? Oh my
yes.
gosh.
Just over a year we've been in this new location, which is downtown Swanville. One street. It's really easy to find.
I love Swanville so much, though. It's just such a cute town.
It is. And there's a lot of support in this small town. And so, kind of getting back to the whole event planning and things like that, it's just really fun to try to get people together and support one another and do these events.
So speaking of events, that's kind of the big thing I wanted to talk to you about today, because I opened up my Facebook this morning and a few of my friends had shared your boutique bash that's coming up here in later September. So what do you got going on with that?
Okay, so the boutique bash is kind of a new version of what our Ladies' Day Out was. We're trying to focus and put a larger spin on fashion. And so, obviously going into fall, it's a big change for us in Minnesota, moving out of shorts and into sweaters and layers and all the things. So we thought it would just be fun to get some of the local boutiques together, and also some vendors that focus more on beauty. So nails, hair, skin, that type of thing, and get together and do one event, which is going to be at the Hub Supper Club. And we are going to have a fashion show. So there's a Vikings game that day, which is going to be cool. So during the Vikings halftime, we're going to have a halftime fashion show. So, everyone can participate. The guys can come watch the game, and the ladies can shop and do their thing and watch the fashion show and get in on all the happenings there.
I love that you're doing the fashion show at halftime, because it's like live halftime entertainment.
Well, that's our goal.
I think it's just absolutely genius. So what kind of, you said it's more beauty focused vendors and different boutiques. Who do you have all coming to this?
Yeah, so, well, it's open right now. And so we're adding, as people are reaching out, we're open to adding more. We have a lot of space available to us. But currently, For our boutique vendors, we have Rustic Diamond Boutique and we have Shop Lola Mae's Boutique, which they're solely an online boutique, but correlated with Swanville in some way, shape, or form. Ideal Ink will be there. They're a lash, brow, lip tattoo type artist. We have Permanent Jewelry by Jenny, Shay's Custom Designs Jewelry, Color Street Nails, Rodan and Fields, which is the skincare line. We have Alicia from The Zone is going to be making teas. She's going to have a tea bar there. And of course, Theory will be there. And we're going to be at the hub. So you'll be able to get, all the great food and drinks there during the event as well.
The beauty of a small town is as you were listing all these great vendors off, I'm like, oh, I know her.
It's pretty cool.
It's so cool to see all these local people coming together to make this event happen. If there are people listening right now and they're like, hey, I want to get involved with this, should they reach out to you?
They can reach out to me. They can reach out to Tracy or myself on our Facebook page at Theory Clothing Co. Boutique.
Awesome. I am so excited for this. I think it's going to be such a great event for you guys and just genius to do it during the Vikings game. Like, props to you for that.
It's going to be fun. And Abby, we're already planning our spring event and we hope to have more boutiques that are already reaching out and interested. Obviously, that can't make it in this short time, but we'll be hopefully coming in the spring. So we'll do it again.
I love it. It's like a fashion week for central Minnesota.
Right.
This is so great. So there's also an event on Facebook as well that people can follow along with an RSVP too. So make sure you check that out. Will you guys be posting updates there too?
Yes, we will. Mm-hmm.
Okay, great. Yeah, I think this is going to be such a cool event and I can't wait to watch it grow because like I said, I did a couple of your events and each one got bigger and better.
Oh, thanks.
And if people are looking to shop for just anything from Theory, you guys are always open online, right?
We are. And our website is just theoryclothingco.com.
Okay. And then brick and mortar, what are your hours in Swanville?
Our hours are Wednesday through Friday, 10 to 6, and Saturday from 9 to 2.
Awesome. Stacy, thank you so much for doing this so last minute. I literally, for everyone listening, I texted her this morning and said, hey, will you do this? And here we are a couple hours later doing it.
Thank you so much, Abby. I appreciate you.
Thank you so much for tuning in to another episode of the Small Town Tourist Podcast. Our theme song is Queen of Our Hometown by Rachel McIntyre Smith. You can stream her music wherever you listen to your music, and be sure to check her out on social media at Rachel McIntyre Smith and on her website, rachelmcintyresmith.com. If you're looking for more content from the Small Town Tourist, you can always check out the blog, thesmalltowntourist.com, and follow along on Instagram and on Facebook at The Small Town Tourist. If you know of something cool that you'd like me to check out, my email is always open. Go ahead and send me one, Abby, ABBEY, at thesmalltowntourist.com.